Hello and welcome to E-Magazine. I'm your host, Brent Onyemi Chaba. Now, we've talked about the music industry a lot in E-Magazine, and today we're looking at a particular topic that I'm really interested to talk about, which is basically looking at how to make a name as a Kenyan vocalist, a vocal coach in the Kenyan space. And joining me today on E-Magazine is the one and only Andrew Wambua, who is the founder and executive director of The Voice School, as well as a singer and a songwriter. So you wear a lot of hats.
I would say I do.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, I'm so happy that you're in E-Magazine today.
Thank you for having me.
Great. So we'll just jump right into the conversation. And you tell me, what exactly is a vocal coach?
A vocal coach is, I'd liken it to athletes and to people who do sports. And so they have coaches as well who help them to get fit, help them to gain skill, and help them to sing well. And so that's really literally what a vocal coach is.
Okay.
They hold your hand through getting your skill together and getting your fitness together, because to be as a singer you need to be fit.
Okay.
And just being a better singer, I would say, yeah.
All right. And would you say there's a major difference between a voice teacher and a vocal coach? That's the same thing?
Actually, there is a difference. So a vocal coach is someone who plays an instrument and takes the singer through singing on an instrument.
Okay.
A teacher, however, is a singer as well. So a vocal coach doesn't have to be a singer.
Okay.
As long as they can play an instrument and guide you as you sing and give you pointers here and there, then they can do that. But a voice teacher is also a user of this instrument, which is your voice.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
so it's an added advantage when a voice teacher is also a vocal coach. That means they can also play an instrument, and they can, of course, because
So you can
they've
be
used
both, basically. You can be
yeah.
a vocal coach and a voice teacher.
Yeah.
Wow. So tell me, what made you decide to get into this space?
It's a passion thing for me. Yeah, we hear that all the time, don't we? But really it is. I find a lot of good vibes when I give out of what I know, because someone else gave me what I know now. And a lot of people out there are talented, but along the way they also meet people who help mold who they are right now. And I would really love to be that person to someone else.
Okay.
And so because I didn't stop, I'm still singing and writing my own music. But on top of that, I decided to go into this space of vocal coaching and teaching to just impart someone else's life. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that you're still singing and writing. I'll get back to that. But I just want you to tell me about the Voice School, when you started it, and so far how it's been for you in that particular area.
It's actually only 3 months old.
Oh, really? Wow, okay.
Which is great. It's received some great feedback. And I think that's owing to me having been in the industry before. And I used to work before at Saudi Academy. And then I went freelance. And then, so from having been in the industry and been with many different people, I guess the feedback right now is saying that we trust what you're doing.
Okay.
Because we've seen you do it before. And so we're only 3 months old. And yeah. We are getting there.
Yeah, that's good. So would you advise someone who's trying to get into, being a vocal coach and maybe even starting their own company themselves, that it's important to try and understand the industry or the space first before getting out there and expecting people will come and trust your work?
Absolutely. I think in any career, your track record speaks a lot more than your papers ever will. And so getting to know the industry is a big thing, and getting to know the ins and outs. I mean, also, when you're teaching, what are you teaching?
Yes.
Some of the things you're teaching are based on industry standards, industry norms, even if not the Kenyan industry, international standards, international norms. And so knowledge of industry is really awesome as a vocal coach, because you're not coming from void.
Okay.
You're coming from somewhere, which is always great, because that's what a teacher is. I mean, they need to be ahead of you.
Yes, so you need to feel like you're gaining from them.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned, right? Okay, you've done music your whole life, basically.
Pretty much.
At some point, did you pursue your music career?
I did. Actually, I have a finance degree, and I worked in the bank before.
Wow. Wow, I feel like with creatives, there's always an interesting story behind it.
Yeah, and so one day I just woke up and quit in 2007. And then I delved right into it. I formed a band. It was called, still is called Afrology. Wrote some music, recorded some music, and just went in. I forgot my banking thing.
I actually wouldn't think you worked in a bank, honestly speaking. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Now, does your voice, you've started the voice school right now. Who are you targeting? Would you say you're just targeting people, individuals who sing, or it's all around, people who play music? What would you say?
At the moment, we are a singers academy, if I may call it an academy, and but we're planning to grow out into musicians, which is people who play instruments, into musical theater, which is people who do theater and music. But at the moment, we are only doing singers as we expand out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So one thing I also want to talk about is, for a fact, let's say someone like me who's trying to come to your academy, get my voice, learn how to control my skill set, how should I say that? How do I guarantee that I can get, value from working with you and building my voice, in the sense that I'm talking about? Once I leave your academy, am I gonna get a gig? Am I gonna be able to perform in concerts?
That's the thing. It's like, I get that question a lot, and it's a good question. It is a good question, and it's tied into drive, to be honest. When you have drive in anything, you're gonna get it. It's like going to, say, University of Nairobi and doing biochem.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, University of Nairobi is not going to tell you, okay, now you've graduated, come, let me give you a job.
Yeah.
You have to go out there and be out there in the industry, play some free gigs here and there, play some paid gigs, do acoustic things, post some videos. And so as you work with your drive, then, and also again, gain your skill set from the school, together with your drive, you're bound to get ahead in life.
Okay.
And so that's what I'd say. Like, I wouldn't guarantee you that I'm gonna come and tell you, oh, I have a gig for you, but the skill set that you're learning also intertwines with the industry knowledge and industry things that helps you create and just be your own unique self.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're basically sitting in a space where you are nurturing talents of young musicians who are trying to get into this music industry space. So I would want to ask you that, having been in that position, do you feel or see that the music scene in Kenya overall is growing? And if it is it for better or worse?
It is growing, to be honest. It doesn't quite seem like it, but when I look back, like when I started doing music professionally in 2007, and when I look back to then,
You're an OG.
and right now, quite an OG. Yeah.
Quite an OG.
Yeah, when I look back, I'm like, a lot of things have changed. I mean, look at South Soul having 1.5 million followers on Instagram. That would never have happened in 2007.
It's true.
And even just the amount of music around, and I'm absolutely pro play KE music, because there's so much more music right now than there was in 2007. I mean, there's always that story about, oh, the music doesn't have content and whatnot, but if this person doesn't get the push by their own people, then they don't feel like they want to be pushed to do anything. So they'll just churn out some things that you can't listen to. But the more we give people the chance to be heard, the more they feel like they want to get better, I think. Yeah, and so the more you play Kenyan music, I think the better it will become, because people are seeing, oh, people are actually listening to me. Okay, so maybe I need to improve my lyrics a little, because people are doing what? They're listening.
Okay.
But if no one wants to listen to you, then you're just like, okay, I'm going to become another pop artist, chuck out a song that has 4 words as lyrics,
Yeah.
repeated over and over, because that looks like what it's selling.
Okay.
But if we broaden out and we play more of Kenyan music, and not just the pop music, but a lot of, like, there's blues, there's Kenyan blues, there's Benga, Danaseda, there's Afro soul, there's Afrofusion, there's a lot of Kenyan music.
And Afro soul is becoming so big in Kenya. I feel like a lot of artists are really trying that with even the rappers, as well as that. Now, you know, we're in a space where there are a lot of musicians in Kenya right now.
Yeah.
And I wanted your honest opinion with the Kenyan artists we have right now. Do you feel like they're authentic in terms of their music, the way they sing? Because, you know, we're in a space where, you know, people can enhance their voice, you know, technological wise, using auto-tunes, and that kind of discourages young artists who are coming into the space. What are your thoughts about that?
I think autotune was a great invention.
With T-Pain.
To be honest. You took it out of my mouth. But it also depends with how it's used, of course. I think it was a great invention, except it's been quite misused a bit, because people tend to think it's not meant to be a skill correction. It's just meant to color your voice. And so people use it as a skill correction. You can't sing, and then you add autotune, you change your voice into key, and you think that's good, you know. But that said, I think Kenya has pretty good musicians, and the pop scene has pretty much grown. And
Yeah, 100%, yeah.
yeah, and it's getting to that point where the more people are paying attention, the better the things that are coming out are. I know someone seated there thinking, is Wamlambes any better?
You just took my question out of my mouth right now.
But how many of those things do we hear now, unlike when we used to hear them? Back in the day, there used to be so many, because that's what people used to churn out all the time. Nowadays, we sit for a bit before the next Wamlambes.
Yes.
And the other
Very
things
true.
that are beside it are not terribly as awful as they used to be back in the day. And so I'm all pro this industry, because it's made its baby steps really well.
Okay, and would you say there are lots of strong vocalists in the Kenyan industry right now?
There are, to be honest.
Give me a favorite.
Actually, to be honest, in the auditions we had an August intake, so we're doing a September intake on Sunday, and we auditioned quite a number of people, and there were some really good youngins in there. My personal favorite is in Kenya. I'm assuming it's in Kenya.
In Kenya, of course. It's all about Kenya. Yes.
Is Atemi. I absolutely love Atemi.
I see. Well, yeah.
Yeah, but I have many. I have a lot of people. I even have some of my students that I taught in Sauti Academy, and even now, who are actually my absolute favorites. Wairimu Kamatu, Wendy Kemunto, Nanoia, some really, really good. Sadly, people don't play their music. This is where I'm saying,
would you say that's that's the major struggle? Well, like when you were teaching the students, helping them with their vocals, and do you also teach them how to write the lyrics? Is that something you do in the voice school?
Yes, indeed, because it's a package. It's a package, and when you're honing your craft and your skill, when you come from doing your voice things, then you also need to learn something about writing. And you also need to learn something about music business.
Okay.
I mean, which is why I'm seated here.
Yeah. Yes.
And so it's a package. And so, and I'm not saying that everyone has to be all of those things, but it's nice when you know your way around and you know where you're going, because not everyone is a great songwriter, but they could be great singers. And some people are not so great singers, but they could be really good songwriters. And others know quite their way around marketing and doing like good press things for artists.
Okay.
But on top of that, they also have some talent in singing and some talent in songwriting. And so that's what I mean by it's a package. And so you can't do one without the other.
You have to come together.
Yeah.
Well, Andrew, I'm loving our conversation, but we sadly have to take a short commercial break. When we come back, we'll get more into conversation about what it takes to be a vocal coach in the Kenyan music scene right now. Do not go anywhere. You're watching E! Magazine. See you in a bit.